Back on Morning Line, it's our final segment this morning. Our guest, John Weil, professor from MTSU, talking politics and the latest out of D.C., the new book, Fire and Fury, coming out the 9th of this month, getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, he should be paying us something, right? For
Listen, one of the people who Facebooked me said, look, yeah, this is just a way to put it out there, and the media is going to grab hold of it, and they're going to sell books. And that's true, but I think there will be other books. I was mentioning to him during a commercial break that my understanding is Sean Spicer is writing a book that I think will probably get some attention as well, if and when that comes out. I don't know when. His book is going to be about his perception of how the media was unfair.
Right.
And I think a lot of people will be interested to hear what he has to say on that. So both sides of this thing. Let's go to Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
The professor knows me as the one who picked the Great Plains in the Midwest for Trump.
Yes.
I'm going to ask him the same question. I may have already asked him, and if you remember the last time the Vanderbilt professor was on, and I asked him, and it was more shocking that he didn't know that at the end of the segment when you said, hey, he's got a new book coming out, and it's about, now you probably know who I'm talking about, and you promoted his book right at the end, the Vanderbilt professor. You know who the book's about, so don't tell this professor. But anyway, listen, professor, who said... and who was he speaking to, and whose policy was he talking about? It's pretty. That sounds complicated, but it's real simple. He goes, the achievement of world peace through each nation's pursuit of their own self-interest. Who said it? And who is he talking to about?
I don't know.
Henry Kissinger was.
Okay.
Henry Kissinger said it.
Political realism.
Yeah.
Yes. That would make sense.
And your point on that is?
My point is that, people, nations, their own sovereignty, they need to be concentrated about their own interests, pursue their own interests above all else. A lot of other things will fall into place if you can follow that simple thing. Also, this thing about...
I don't buy that. What are you talking about, Brian? So ignore everything else. Only you. To heck with the rest of the world, or the heck with everything. Just us all the way. This is a world community. You know better than that. You're not stupid, are you? So what are you saying that...
Can I finish, please? Just say one last...
Yeah, explain yourself. That makes absolutely no sense.
Listen, the Steve Bannon Trump thing, Make America Great Again, is bigger than one person. The whole movement about why these people in Wisconsin, Ohio, the Midwest, the Rust Belt were voting. Now the professor is understanding what I'm saying, even though you're not, is that there's a general feeling, hey, we need to take care of ourselves. So this thing was, even if we had lost the election, Trump, I know a lot of people in the alt-right or the, Goldwater Republican thing are saying, hey, doesn't matter. Our movement is starting, it's gaining power, and there's no going back. Elections at this point are irrelevant. The media is irrelevant. The academia is irrelevant.
Well, making people's lives better, I'm not disagreeing with that, and making America great is not something I'm disagreeing with.
Right.
I just think you can make the argument that just saying, oh, it's all my own self-interest and nothing else. I think when you try to foster the rest of, not just the world, but in this country, the poor, the rich, it helps everyone. It benefits everyone.
The approach he's taking,
not a good plan.
The approach he's taking is sort of a combination of political realism, particularly in foreign policy, and sort of laissez-faire. The whole theory of laissez-faire economics is give everybody incentive to do their best. But sometimes if your rhetoric is me, then you're signaling other countries in a way something that you may not want. We need friends, we need allies. Well, where would we have been over the past 40, 60 years had we not had NATO? Right. Some of these agreements that we've had.
I think it serves everyone's best interests there. Let's go to Joe. Hi, Joe.
Good morning, Nick and Professor.
Good morning.
It's refreshing to hear one of your previous callers. He hit it right on the head about what's went on with Iraq and Saudi Arabia and some of this other stuff. He's kept up with it and knows what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. It's refreshing to hear someone that knows what happened and what's going on. And I will agree with the professor that Trump, he throws a piece of red meat out just every now and then to keep things rolling like he enjoys doing. I think he gets a big kick out of creating.
Yeah, I think he enjoys it, and I'm with you, Joe. I think sometimes it's a safety valve steam release for him, and I think he definitely enjoys the attention. Don't you think, Joe?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he's a self-centered. He loves the spotlight,
Yes.
and whatever it takes. If it's not much going on, he'll fire something up to get it started.
Yeah.
Yes, he will.
Yeah. I mean, you'd agree? He does.
I do.
That way, and it's interesting. We talk about just allies and getting along, and whether or not you negotiate with someone like Kim Jong-un. And you just got back from seeing the movie The Darkest Hour,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Which is fascinating.
Churchill.
I saw it, and it's like. Gary Oldham played Winston Churchill, doing a very key part of early on in World War II, when Britain was basically the only one left standing
Right.
up to Hitler. And it was, what'd you think?
It was
Amazing.
a great movie.
Great movie, great performance. Reminded me, it
Yes.
was so good. Like, you spent the afternoon with Winston Churchill, the way I felt
Yes.
after watching Daniel Day-Lewis play Lincoln.
Yes.
It was that good. But anyway, it's just interesting to observe that. And Churchill always said, you do not negotiate with people like Hitler.
Right.
They're not going to work. And I think Donald Trump
of
would maybe
course that
say
was-
he
yeah.
doesn't want to negotiate, depending on how it goes, with Kim Jong-un.
Right.
Now, what were you
Right.
going to say, of course?
Well, in the case of Churchill, they had already negotiated 4 or 5
Yes.
times with Hitler, and each time he took more.
Chamberlain,
So
they kept
yes,
taking it.
I mean,
You had a
there was a
track
track.
record.
Yes.
Whereas maybe a little different here. You're not going to allow Kim Jong-un to push Donald Trump around, which you would not allow, but maybe you see if you
Right.
can get some agreement from him, which I just don't know if you can.
I don't know either. I mean, I can criticize the tweets, but what policy you would one of the things that we don't have right now, for many years, we had an overarching containment,
Yeah.
and it got us in Vietnam, it got us in some things that didn't work out too well, but overall patience paid off. The Soviet Union fell.
Right.
And we had at least a kind of partial victory. I don't think we have that kind of grand strategy at the moment.
Right. As we kind of start wrapping things up, big picture now, neither of us have read the entire book.
No,
but,
we haven't.
We do have, the New Yorker has a large excerpt. A lot of the clips are coming out now as they try to promote and sell the book, which is part of their strategy.
Sure.
Scheme of things, though, if you're guessing, and you said there have been other books that have come, they make a little buzz and then they go
Sure.
away. Is this going to be a big deal to any degree? I mean, a lot of people aren't too surprised. Maybe Bannon eventually turned on the president. The stuff that is being revealed here, do you think this will have any legs?
Well,
What you've
again,
read so
I
far?
think the major question that people are going to have is this, and I think the answer is no, is there the same degree of chaos now as there was?
Right.
I don't think there is. Does Trump still lack overall focus? Would it be possible today to say the 3 things he wants to do this next year are X, Y, and Z? Maybe not. So I think some of this remains, but I think in terms of settling on a chief of staff, I think that's basically been done.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the revelations we've read so far are interesting because it really, if you believe everything, and I don't believe everything in it, but if you believe the gist of it, is just an incredible story
Absolutely.
of how you almost have not an accidental president, but someone who's become president out of the blue from nowhere. And it's fascinating, but I always said from the beginning with Donald Trump, 1, that if he ran, I don't know that he really ever expected to win, but he was going to win either way. He's a
Right.
brilliant businessman, and even if he lost, it was going to pay off for him. And 2, I felt when he got in there, you're sure he's green, as you said. Didn't serve in the military, did not have politics. That's okay. But he was going to learn on the job. And I
Right.
think you're absolutely right. The chaos, while there may still be some, is not the way it was early on.
Right.
And so, really, this is kind of just telling you what it was like.
Right.
Is it revealing anything that is going to be like moving forward? Oh, no?
Again, a lot of it we already, how much hair he has on the top of his head.
Right.
I don't know, still don't know for sure.
No.
But a lot of what he says about Trump's personality is already out there.
Right. It's not
it's
so
not
much
hidden
new,
under a bushel.
whether you believe it or not. So it'll get some buzz, and we'll see. Part of the thing that'll keep it going is if the president continues to respond to it.
Right.
And sometimes that's one thing you would think he would learn with time. Sometimes if you just ignore something, guess what?
It may go away.
It goes away, right? Wow, well, it's fascinating stuff as it comes along with that, and we'll see. You're probably right too about North Korea. It's just them negotiating, maybe.
Yeah.
The Olympics,
I mean, I hope I'm wrong on it. That it would be great if there were, some kind of breakthrough there,
but not holding
seems unlikely.
A lot of hope on that. And as I said, 2 senators, Democrats, sworn in. One was a replacement for Al Franken. But this next election really could be crucial, and that's where you wonder books like this when they come out. The key is, the bottom line is Donald Trump, like him or not, you don't blame the man necessarily. The American public put him there. If you want to blame someone, if you didn't like him, blame the people who voted for him. He just ran, okay? He was elected. The question is, are some of them who elected him having second thoughts now? The core, I absolutely believe no. There are people there that believe this man
suggests that there are regrets.
But are there some who are just a little bit moderate in the middle there that now maybe still probably can't find themselves voting for a Democrat, but maybe just won't vote?
Right.
And because, that like, well, you know what, I thought it would just be nice to have a change, but this is more change than I anticipated. That's the question. And you think Alabama may be an indication that perhaps the substance, he has definitely not extended his base.
He doesn't seem to have tried.
No, I don't think his popularity has grown. I think it's maybe even shrunk a bit, but his core remains. There's no question. There's a lot of people that still believe in him, but that same core, is there enough to re-elect him? Well, that's down the road.
I've learned better.
Thank you. Happy New Year, my friend, for coming on. Yeah, predictions. I'm all done with that. We'll be back with a programming note right after this.